And we are live. Ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of aidThomspin and Other Disappointments. I'm your host, aidThomspin, and let me take you by the hand, dear listeners, dearest of binfluencers. Let me walk you through these fields of despair, like we're Theresa May gallivanting through fields of barley in those wayward teenage years of hers. Loads has happened this week, like every other chaotic week in this god-awful timeline that we're stuck in. We've had the Conservative Party conference.
It's conference season, guys! And the Tories are the first of the big parties to showcase their achievements and exciting new policy ideas for how to run the country, or fix the country that they've been running into the ground over the last 13 years. Imagine that, though. Imagine having to get up on stage and celebrate the thing you've made a mess of for the last 10 years. Must be like having marriage counselling at your anniversary party. But yeah, 13 years they've been in power. You know what that means? There were 10-year-olds in 2010 who are 23 now. So all of their formative years would have been spent, with the backdrop of this Tory neglect and financial mismanagement, just cuts and crumbling schools. Coming of age while suffering that lot. Christ. Imagine trying to have a good time with all that going on as the backdrop. It'd be like f***ing to Leonard Cohen. I wonder what it would take for a policeman to actually go detective on this, pan out a bit, like look at the reasons for the protest and the ripple effects that have caused it. Like, what would it take for the policeman to go, whoa, hang on, my section 14 notice says that I can impose restrictions to prevent serious public disorder. But if Tory policies have created public disorder, like crumbling schools and corpses in hospital corridors, not to mention caused this protest here by failing to adequately represent the interests of the public, I suppose the Tories are really the actual cause of all of this. I suppose to prevent serious public disorder, I should section 14 the government. No, that would never happen. We're talking about a class of intellectual who, like, the only time I've ever seen them think outside the box is when they're kettling the rest of us in one.
Now, you might be thinking, what the is going on if MPs, ministers, the Home Secretary and the PM are all just liberally retailing nonsense in speeches, interviews? What the is going on? And the answer is very simple. Let me break this down for you. The Tories used to have a conveyor belt of constantly replenishing Conservative voters because when the oldies die out, more people turn 40, they buy houses, they're looking for fiscal responsibility and risk-averse policies. But nowadays, thanks to the ballooning cost of childcare and your mortgage and rent, nobody has that stability. So there's not that natural need for fiscal responsibility and risk-averse policy. So what do? To bring people over to the right, they have to channel hate and fear and cliche and caricature and lies. Labour are going to drag us back into the EU. No, they're not. They've never said that. There's going to be 10 million immigrants. What? No, there's not. This is why I think Labour need to fight fire with fire. Like, make up conspiracies about the Tories. Like, did you hear the one that I just made up about why Suella is so against 20-mile-an-hour speed limits? It's because she ran over a 3-year-old. And over in the States, Trump is probably not going to be able to do business in the state of New York soon. The Ukraine war rages on. Climate change has just yielded our hottest September ever. And that is after records were already broken in July and August too. But it's not all doom and gloom, dear listeners. Lawrence Fox got raided by the police this week. And they reportedly took his hard drive, which, like, I'm not one to kick a man while he's down. But in this day and age, in this political climate that we're in, you have to take your laughs where you can get them. And frankly, the visage of Lawrence Fox ending up in a lot of trouble for content that he may or may not have on his hard drive. There's no suggestion that there would be anything dodgy on there. But if there were, dear listeners, and, this is the guy that has already been sued for baselessly calling other people paedophiles. If it turned out that there was something on his hard drive, I don't know. I just think the Schadenfreude would be too much for me. I think I might from laughter. None of this is interesting. None of this is political, but I got stuck at Waterloo. I had train problems, Alex, and it's...
Well, there's a slight politics segue we could do with that. They're banning cigarette smoking.
I thought you were going to go all HS2 on me then, and infrastructure.
Yeah, no trains.
Yeah, like just as well the existing infrastructure is in such tip-top shape, or we'd really be f***ing we.
You could see that a lot of businesses were absolutely livid because they would start investing in the north.
Yeah.
And he's just yanked it out, and then he's claiming that he's going to invest in the projects in the north. I was checking out an old article from 2012 where they were showing that some of the trains were quicker in the Victorian period than they are today.
That's progress. There you go. Yeah, it's so depressing, isn't it? Like the angle that I kept coming back to when they announced that they were cancelling it, in the immediate aftermath of his speech, I was like, do you seriously think we're going to be this dumb that we would believe that you're cancelling HS2? And the reason that you're doing that is 36 billion. It's a lot of money. I get it. But the idea that you're going to cancel it, save that money, and immediately spend every penny, reinvest it in other infrastructure. I'm like, no way. Like,
they already cancelled a couple of the projects. I think there was a train line they've cancelled up north already. I think Lee something.
24 hours it was.
There's so much going on. I genuinely can't keep up.